go ahead and call the meeting to order. Jenny, do you want to do roll call, please?
Hayland,
Here.
Karstagen,
Here.
Bentley,
Here.
Reed,
Reed's here.
Good deal. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes from June, please?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thanks, Kelly. Is there any audience items, Jenny?
no, there's not.
Nothing. Okay. So next is July Parks and Rec Month. How's it going?
Yeah. So, yeah, July is National Parks and Rec Month through the National Parks and Rec Association. And typically it's a time for mass celebration, movies in the park. Just can't do any of those things this year. So we're trying to go the virtual route. And I believe many of you like our Facebook page. So on the first, I did put out kind of just a, what does Parks and Rec mean to you? Really, more than anything, that's for brand awareness. I'm hoping that, I know a lot of folks don't know that there is a Parks and Rec department yet. So that was kind of my ulterior motive, is to get people to our page, have people start to share it. And then I was hoping people would, submit photos of what they do for recreation, what they do in our parks. And, that'll be good promo for us going forward to actually have, people in Polk City Parks enjoying Polk City Parks. So the response so far has been tepid. I'll put it that way. I have gotten some good pictures, mostly dogs on the Neil Smith Trail. I had no idea there was so much canine traffic on that thing. But yeah, that's ongoing all month. And I'm going to kind of spark the fire a little bit throughout the month. I'll put more pictures out. Maybe I'll try to persuade some of my fellow staff to upload stuff. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Jenny. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe my council too. What does the Sarchett family do for Parks and Rec? So yeah, that is ongoing. And then, I'm sorry, I actually went out of order. That was 5B. 5A is that photo scavenger hunt I talked to you guys about back in June. So I was able to secure some old bleacher panels from the sports complex that the Public Works guys were holding on to. And we cut them into some dimensions, and we're looking to decorate them and kind of post them in 5 parks around town. So the idea is that people will have to go to all 5, take a picture by them, and lo and behold, it will spell out Polk City Parks and Recreation. Then to sweeten the pot, to get people to upload some photos, we've got the Creamery doing 3 $25 gift cards for those folks that do it. So a little incentive to go out, enjoy our parks, get hot, and then ice cream. Who doesn't love that? So I have a request of the commission. If you're feeling voluntary, if anybody would like to take a plank home and decorate it, I would love your help. So like I said, there's 5 of them. They range from 2 feet to 4 feet. Obviously, recreation's a pretty long word, so that'll be the 4-footer. But yeah, I'm just asking, put one of, and I'll let you know which plank you're getting. So put the word on there, and then, kind of let your creative juices flow. If you're a baseball fan, paint a baseball. Steve, if you want to paint a bike, I have no problems with that. And, so if anybody's interested in that, feel free to mention it during our meeting, or if you'd like to email me privately afterward, we can arrange that. That's something, if you want to take home, feel free, or I can reserve some community center space for you to work on them there. But yeah, that's about it on that. I did walk back on a community movie. I didn't feel good about, with the kind of rise in cases. So we're going to shelve that for now. I was hoping to do that at the end of the month. But yeah, I'm going to follow kind of trends carefully as it pertains to COVID. And I would love that to be one big thing that happens. I'll even say in the next quarter, if possible. I think that'll just be a good moment for people to come out and maybe not hug people, but within 6 feet, say hi to somebody you haven't seen in a while. Just a real community feel event. So yeah, I think that about wraps up July Parks and Rec Month for what's going on.
So Jason, these planks, what do we put them in our yard when we painted them up, or where did?
Oh, no. I'll take them back and I'm going to place them in five of our parks. So I'm trying to get people to explore all of our parks here in town. I know that there's kind of this stigma of neighborhood parks, and that's certainly what we have. But, I'd like the Marina Cove people to go check out Leonard Park too. Just kind of see all the parks that we have to offer. So yeah, I'll secure them at the parks that I'm going to put them in. And I've kind of came up with a really cheesy Dr. Seuss-like rhyme to give you a clue as to where this board is. So yeah, it should be fun. I'm hoping people really take to it. So yeah, if you'll take the board home, decorate it, and bring it back, I'll do the rest of the work.
Well, thank you for that. We'll take a board home if you have one for us to take. When do you want them back, or what's the deadline for?
Sure. I'm going to go live with this on Monday, July 20th.
Okay.
So more than likely, I'll go out Sunday evening and fasten these things. So, I would say drop dead date of maybe Friday. What would that be? The 17th?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you want to send an email, I'll take one for sure.
Awesome. That sounds good. Thank you.
And
I
you
can probably do one too.
Okay. Thank you, Kelly.
I'll sign up to do one too. I'll have my grandkids work on it.
That sounds awesome. Thank you. So yeah, I will email you guys and we can figure out if you want me to drop them off, we can do that, or you can swing by the community center and I can get them to you there, and we'll just do whatever's most convenient for you.
Sounds great. All right. Anything else on July Parks and Rec Month, or any questions? All right. Steve, I think you're up next with the Community Visiting Committee report.
Sure. Happy to do that. You can follow along here. So we met last on June 6th as a group, and we came together with the coordinator from the Trees Forever organization, and then the landscape architect, actually two of them, who are assigned to us. The one, Amy, the name you'll probably know most often is Eric Dahl. And anyway, so the members there, and Rob, you were there too, we threw out all these kind of ideas that have followed sort of from the start of our application all the way through the discussion stage at every meeting that we've had, through our focus group research, our survey research, so forth and so on. And so we threw out a lot of ideas. People filled out a form and then brought it to the meeting. And we worked all that down to a point where we voted on the 5 top things for our committee going forward. And these 5 areas are very important because these are the things that our landscape architects are going to work on at our community event, which I see is on here as B on July 11th. But anyway, these 5 things really, most of them don't deviate from what we've been talking about from the get-go. Our priority has always been the High Trestle Trail Connector, and so trail connectivity is priority number 1. Not only the High Trestle Trail Connector, but also sidewalks connectivity, because we have a lot of sidewalks that sort of end abruptly. Informational signage, that has always also been known as wayfinding signage, to get people from various parts of town down to the square, because the square has always been our central gathering point as a committee. Community beautification, that includes trails and parks both. Just an example of that I know there's a flower bed that one of our commission members takes care of on the square. And so we've talked about building on that idea at different places around the community. Pedestrian safety has always been important to us, and Broadway is sort of the key when it comes to pedestrian safety, getting people down Broadway, getting people across Broadway. And this is not only bikers, but this is walkers as well, and runners and so forth and so on. And then year-round recreation was one of the things mentioned at our meeting, and that's not something that has been something we've talked about in great length, but it scored high during our June 6th meeting to promote sort of our tagline, City for All Seasons. We talked about that and talked about what can we do for each of the seasons in Polk City's life. So we're going to look at that as well. So that's kind of where we're coming from. A lot of it is not really a big surprise to us, but there's been a lot of work done getting to this point. So we're excited to go for it. And B, I guess, is that I'll just mention that. Amy, okay, to go ahead with B? Sure. So we're having our design charrette on the square on July 11th, and that will be from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we're inviting all members of the community to come down to that charrette and help our landscape architects, who will be working live at that time, come up with projects that support these 5 key ideas. And we do have if it's raining, we do have the Beautiful Savior Lutheran Church gym. The Beautiful Savior has volunteered to be our rain area. So if it rains, we'll be there, but we're hoping that it'll be a beautiful day and members of the community will come down. You may have noticed this morning, if you get the email about Polk City's regular email that comes out weekly, this was mentioned in there, and as an invitation for people to come down on the 11th. And I've also put it on the Polk City Community Visioning Facebook page. And Jason, it might be something we would put on the Park and Rec page as well, if you haven't already, but that would be a good place to have it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get something put on there tomorrow.
Okay. And you should be able to take it right from the Polk City newsletter that came out this morning, or you can take it from what I put on the Facebook. So appreciate that very much.
Of course.
Well, thank you, Steve. Any questions for Steve? All right. So
Yeah.
next is,
Actually,
yes.
Amy, can I ask him about number 5 on there, year-round recreation? So when I first saw that, I was like, hey, that's my job. So can you elaborate just a little bit further? Are you looking to do would the community visioning like to see one big seasonal event to really, nail spring, summer, fall, winter, and almost showcase the little silhouettes that are on our city logo? Is that kind of what you're going for? Because I mean, down the road, you best believe I'm going to have a brochure for every season with basketball, softball, that quintessential Parks and Rec stuff that you see. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding your guys' wants entirely to help out where and how I can.
So Jason, I wish I had a clear-cut answer for you. And Rob, you're always welcome to chime in, or Amy as well. So we've had discussions in the past about things we could do in the wintertime in Polk City. So, for example, I know that it's been mentioned before about the ice rink during the wintertime, possibly. And I just think the other events, we have the big festival in the summer. I just think it's kind of a clean slate for members of the community to take that year-round recreation concept and come down to the charrette and say, well, why, I would suggest we do this in the fall or we do this in the spring. Help me out, Amy and Rob, if you'd like to elucidate on this.
Yeah, so Jason, I do think you play a large role. A lot of the conversation, Steve's 100% right. So it's the off season, plans for various things, which a lot, being able to cross country ski on the trails or being able to use the parks, how they get used in the summer and even in spring and fall is very straightforward, but winter was less obvious. So what do we have planned for things? Cross country skiing was a big one. The ice skating rink, as Steve mentioned, was another one that came up. Those are the two big ones that jumped out to me. But I think it's just, are we supporting the Parks and Rec mentality as much in January and February as we are in June and July? So that I mean, to me, that sticks right in your wheelhouse. And I hope that some of the ideas that come through this and some of the idea boards that the landscape architects put together will spark more ideas, which will probably fall on your desk as the things to maybe facilitate or organize. But those are a lot of the things. I don't have my notes from the meeting in front of me, but a lot of the
That makes sense. That works.
Okay. Any other community visioning questions or thoughts? Okay. Next is reports. Is there any more of a staff report?
I'll go first. I got nothing from Public Works. Maybe they're just they're relaxed now that big street project got done. So no, I think they're just back to summer as usual. Just keeping things looking pretty. Doing what we've come to expect them to do in the summers. So nothing really earth-shattering from them. For me, I just had a few things. Starting today, July 6th, City Hall and the library are now open to the public by appointment only. So, yeah, you would have to go through those avenues to come in, but it's the first step in getting people back in those buildings the right and safe way. Playgrounds, they continue to be disinfected weekly. That's usually how I spend my Monday mornings. So, yeah, it's a pretty sweet deal. The police are letting me use their UTV, and the fire station lets me use their chemical applicator that they use in the ambulances should they have to transport a COVID-19 patient. So yeah, that's me on Monday mornings. And last Thursday, July 2nd, the farmers market began. That's going to go through September 10th. It's Thursdays 4 to 7 as usual. It's going to look a little bit different this year. They're more spread out, less possible vendors. I think Bridget's going to cap it at 25 on each of the sidewalks that lead to the bandstand in the middle of the city square. I believe she had 10 vendors last week, and just communicating with her today, I think we're going to see about 15 this week. So I know people were a little scared last week if that was your first thing that you've been out in public to do, but Bridget's done a good job of having kind of a health station on each entrance with hand sanitizer, CDC guidelines. Most vendors were wearing masks from what I saw. So yeah, hopefully that's a little sense of normalcy in an otherwise very unnormal summer season. I think that's all I've got for extras.
How are things going with the parks? Are they getting a lot of use? I mean, out of curiosity.
Yes. So you know, every Monday morning I go to all 5 of our playgrounds to give them a good cleaning, and there are definitely people out. And from what I've noticed, people are using them responsibly too, which I really appreciate. I think people are heeding our guidance. You know, so and it's not just playgrounds too. I continually see people using the green space, you know, whether it's just hanging out in the shade with your kid reading a book. I've seen frisbee, football, softball, volleyball, and basketball out at Kiwanis. So yeah, I think that's giving people an outlet that they probably need right now to get out and get fresh air and just be outside.
Good. Jenny, anything else from you on your end?
The Ken Morris from the tree board just basically said the trees are hot, but they're doing good, and that was the only report he gave me. And other than that, I don't have anything.
Thank you. Is there anything from the council, Rob?
You know, first of all, I don't like following Ken, so we need to get that rearranged because that's a tough act to follow. Jason, I do want to commend you for your leadership on getting those playgrounds open. I've seen a lot of the same things. I think that's a good option to have. Appreciate you cleaning them as diligently you are, and I've seen the same responsible use for the large part, even the sports complex. Seeing folks out there and just kind of spreading out a little bit. I think it's been, at least in terms of business items, maybe a little bit slower yesterday. Obviously, the changes to water and garbage have been the hot button issue here lately. I know with the bills coming out in the last week. I'm hoping we've got some good sort of comparison information as to where we fall in the metro with that I think will help some folks, and then some good sort of overall budget graphs that we'll maybe look to get out to, just to kind of let people know where our money comes from, where it goes to, how it works. Just given all the discourse on some of that, I think trying to do everything we can to give you an opportunity to feel like their money's being used appropriately. But other than that, I can't think of too many other noteworthy items or relevant items. I shouldn't say noteworthy in the last couple meetings, but anybody have any questions on anything from what's going on with the council?
I do not
Thanks.
talk in the neighborhood just about the bills like you already shared, so have that covered. Is there anything else from the commission? No? All right. Well, thanks for hanging in there today. If there's nothing else, we'll adjourn August 3rd. You, Jenny, or Jason will let us know if it's in person or online or how you'd like us to meet.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
Yep,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
guys.
Thank you.